Are you doing any touring or sticking mostly with playing in Nashville?
Oh, no, I do mostly touring. I play Nashville, like I said, writers' nights, but actually I'm playing my first show in Nashville in 4 years next Monday. So normally my touring schedule is pretty thick. Right now, I'm actually, this will be a little educational, a little medical fact for you. I have 3 nodules on my vocal cords right now, so I'm doing rehab. Nodules are basically like a callus on your vocal cord from singing over and over years and years, and lots of singers get them, but it affects your vocal range and stuff, so you have to rehab it or have surgery, and so I'm rehabbing right now. So I'm keeping my schedule pretty light, like a couple times a month over the next, December and January. I'm just going to play like 4 times, and then I'll kick back up into the real touring, but yeah. So no, mostly I tour. I play Nashville occasionally, and it's a monetary reason. Nashville doesn't pay because of economy. It's fine. You don't want to play for, you want to get $1,500 to play. Well, that's fine. We can find a guy down the street that'll do it for tips.
Yeah.
So where if you go to other places, you get paid what you're worth. So.
Who are some of your influences, musical and otherwise?
Influences. Well, Lady Gaga's a really big. I'm just kidding. The influences, like I said, Bob Seger, love Pat Green. Lyrically, I'm not huge on Keith Urban, but as far as writing catchy songs, the guy's unbelievable. Even like John Prine, just some of the old stuff, Van Morrison. Kind of, for a long time I went, I liked trendy stuff just like everybody, but now I'm kind of getting into stuff that, my measure of a great song is, can someone hear this 30 years from now and it mean anything? And not that everything has to be serious, it doesn't. You want stuff that's fun, but can somebody hear it 30 years from now and it still hold true? And the only way to know that is for the song to be 20, 30 years old, so I listen to a lot of classic stuff. And I listen to modern radio too, but the stuff that really influences me is classic stuff. James Taylor too, throwing that in there. But
tell us about some of the greatest and the worst gigs you've experienced.
Ironically, they're probably back-to-back. The best gig I ever played was a festival in Ozark, Missouri. It was a good crowd. I always say I was the proverbial opening act. I've played in front of 10,000 people tons of times for about 15 minutes. I was always that guy. Before they got to hear the bands they really wanted to hear, they had to hear me. But in Ozark, Missouri, playing this festival, and we were right at dusk was when we went on. And so the lights came on, the whole thing. We did 4 encores for 10,000 people. Sold about $10,000 of merchandise, which was abnormal for us. We usually did about $1,000 for about $1 a head, or a little under $1 a head for a crowd that big. And so we sold $10,000 of merchandise and had 4 encores, and it was just a pretty amazing experience. We leave that gig, drive the next day to somewhere in Kentucky. I don't know where in Kentucky, but and the promoter had forgot to promote. Like literally said it slipped his mind. We had a signed contract and everything. Showed up at the guy's door and he was like, "Oh yeah, that thing. I was supposed to have that concert, wasn't I?" And so we literally played for the other band in Subway sandwiches. So they were back to back on 2 different. One was on a Friday, the other was on a Saturday.
Wow. What do you think about the current state of the music business?
That's a good question. Ironically, I'm actually, this is going to make me seem so illegitimate as a musician, but I'm actually working on my PhD, and my dissertation is in the music business. And so it's a comparative study on the organizational change, because the music industry, it's not if it's going to change, it's how dramatically it's going to change. Once we reach an equilibrium, I think the music business will be better for people making a living, and worse off for people becoming stars. I think you're going to see a return to much more regional people. That's why I'm fascinated by the Texas scene. If you really study it, there are people who are massive in Texas that no one's ever heard of, and they make a living. They make 70, 80 grand a year of take-home income, of net income for themselves. They're never going to be a household name. They're never going to be millionaires, but they're going to make a living. Unfortunately, right now, we're in the midst of the industry crumbling as we knew it. But I've been able to interview, a guy named Don Cusick, who's got his doctorate, and he is the historian on country and Christian music in Nashville, and has written 35 books. And he said, and I agree with him, that technology will eventually catch up. And so the whole thing about people illegally downloading, the same technology that caused that influx is also going to fix it. Once that evens out, though, you're still not going to have people that are going to be stars. The infrastructure of the industry is going to change. So I think right now we're in a really bad place, but there's hope for the future, for it not being so machine-like, for you not having to be a 20-year-old with a great body, you know, as a female to sell records. You can be 60, and if you write really good, solid material, there will be an audience for you. Because one of the things, you know, the technology brings about downloading, which is bad. People download for free, and even if they download, they pay for it. They don't really hear a record. They hear one song, and they want to go get that one song. However, so that's a bad side of it. The good side of it is, you know, people say, well, you know what, your music's kind of strange. There's only about 0.5% of the population of the entire world that's going to be interested in this. But now, because of technology, you can actually reach those people. And so if only 100,000 people on the entire planet would like your music, you're capable of reaching them now. And 100,000 record sales is good enough to make a living.
Especially if you're selling it yourself.
Exactly. And so I think the immediate future is bleak, but the long-term future is pretty bright.
That leads me into my next question, your reference of free downloads. How do you feel about fans being able to find the music on peer-to-peer sites relatively easily?
You know what? I just think it is what it is. Anymore, my sons, they don't even buy music, but they don't download it illegally either. They're like, I like that song, YouTube, and they'll just listen to it as many times as they want on their iPhone. So one of the things, speaking with some other people, you know, is that basically I believe that music's going to become music. It used to be where music is the product, the song is the product. That's not true anymore. The song is not the product. The song is the $50,000 or whatever you spend on it, the $10,000 business card. It is the business card saying, hey, here's who I am. Do you like what I'm saying I am? Now come invest in me. Really, the product anymore is you as the artist, or you as the writer. You are the product. The song is just the calling card. It's just the business card. Because kids today and music buyers today will go, yeah, I'll just go to YouTube and listen to that song as many times as I want. But if they really like you and they're really a fan, they'll want to be associated with you. So they're still going to come see you play live. They're still going to buy your t-shirts and all your merchandise. And they're still going to propagate and spread the word about you out to everyone. So it's just a shift in what the actual product is. The product's no longer the song. The product's the individual, the artist.
Which leads me into the next question. Do you do anything to try and stop it, or are you more interested in hearing your music and then coming to see your live shows?
I don't do anything actively to stop it. I wouldn't encourage it because I still need the money from the downloads. However, occasionally I will put up a song for free and just tell people, look, for this month you can download it for nothing. I'll give it to you. So I realize it's a marketing tool. If you leave it up free all the time, it devalues it too much. But to try to always charge for it, I think is a little bit Grinch-like. And really, if I can make it free, a song free to download for a month, and it gets 75 more people to my show, I'm making that money back. So I just try to deal with it inside the confines of where society is at in it. So I don't encourage it, but I'll use it to my advantage when I can.
Excellent. I use the free song to get people to sign up to my newsletter.
And it works.
And finally, this really isn't a question. We have a segment we call Shout It Out Loud, where you can give anybody a shout out or props to whoever or whatever. Say what's on your mind.
Oh, say what's on my mind?
Yeah.
The Macarena should have never been a hit. That's one thing that's on my mind. It's been bugging me for a long time. No, I'll give a shout out to my boy Jimmy the Talent's my best friend. He's in a band called American Analog, and they just did a record. So I'll shout out to them and all the writers in Nashville. And people come see my show December 11th at Doc's in Evansville.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Jason, thank you for your time.
Thank you.